Hi, howdy ho, hey everybody. How you? How's everyone doing? So first thing I want to do is I want to apologize for this review being about, I would argue, technically about 2 days late, depending on when. If you're watching the Crunchyroll version, it's only about a day late, but by other means, it's 2 days late. The main reason why is I have Splatoon for the Wii U. I got that on Friday. Been playing it. Yeah, and then on top of that, I watched the episode like 3 times, and because the thing about this episode is this episode doesn't have a lot of analytical value to it, and that's not a bad thing. Well, it does. That's a lie. It has value to it, but I mean it in the sense that this is like the first lighthearted, chill episode we've gotten since like the beginning of the damn season. The only episode I would argue that was kind of like that was like episode 1 and 2. Everything else has been pretty grim. So I kind of just enjoyed the episode for being a fun, chill-ass episode. Although the ending of the episode is about to go into some shit. I will say this also. I am very surprised and happy that they are willing to animate scenes that the first season skipped over. Because for those who don't know, if you remember, during the scene where you see Yukinochi and Hikigai talk after Hikigai brings them drinks, they reference about how they argue like this before, and it's in reference to what happened back in season 1 when they went to the mall together to find Yui a present, like a birthday present. That scene, if anyone remembers, which you shouldn't because it wasn't in the first season of the anime, that was one of the scenes that was taken out of the anime that was in the light novel. So I'm happy to see that they might reanimate those scenes. And people are still curious about how they're going to handle. Because I think Volume 9 in its entirety, which is what the anime it's on, Volume 9 of what it's translated, I think they had maybe like 2 more episodes. But as you know, I believe SNAFU is either 12 or 13. So that's like an episode or 2 left of material to do. A lot of people are hoping it's like, apparently there's a Volume 10.5, which is a lot of filler shit. People are hoping it's either that, because if it's Volume 10 itself, I don't think they're going to have enough time. And considering how well things have been so far, it really would suck to end the season on like a cliffhanger. At least don't do it fucking, don't do what Haganai did, whereas Haganai wanted to stick close to the light novel. So instead of ending the anime on a better note or just fillering up the ending a little bit, they literally left it the way it ended in the light novel, which was like on a fucking cliffhanger. Like the way it ends in Haganai season 2 is like fuck you type word levels, and I hope they don't do that here. I would rather them do just like some cool like filler, like they did for season 1, where we got an OVA, and I believe we also got like it's the anime only filler, but it's written by the director, so like the personalities and everything were still intact. I would rather just get another one of those personally. I don't feel like you need to jump into Volume 10, especially considering how I think Volume 10 starts. From what I've been hearing about Volume 10, Volume 10 is way more focused on Haruno, and like it's apparently leading into some shit. I would rather they wait until like they finish out the light novels before touching that shit. Because this is starting to get into like this episode was like within the realm of shit I didn't know. Because as I said, I only looked up light spoilers. So like most of this, I knew what happens at the end was going to happen, and I knew that they were going here. I just didn't know the details within it. And this episode did a good job of kind of seeing their group reform and having a sense of normality and kind of a lot of cute moments between all 3 characters. And I like the way the episode starts with him doing the stereotypical I'm embarrassed out of my mind, I gotta flip out kind of scene. Side note, is it just me? Komachi has earned so many fucking points this season, it's fucking ridiculous. I love their fucking relationship. I love how Komachi and Hachima interact with each other. This entire season has fucking shot Komachi up and so high. Because I didn't pay her that much of mind in the first season. I thought she was alright. I fucking love her here. She is fucking adorable here. I also missed the moments back from season 1, which we get in this episode, which is the Yui coercing them into doing something. It also does show their growth as characters, because if you've noticed, Hikigaya kind of helps Yui by like coming up with a BS reason. Not saying he wasn't gonna get shit for Komachi anyway. I'm just saying it's obvious he did that for the sake of Yui more than he did it for himself. Like that was obviously geared towards, all right, fine, Yui wants to go. It wouldn't hurt for us to go, especially since he's already made an ass out of himself. Even though most people think that was like one of his best moments. Fucking love Hachiman as a character. Even though the season is really, for the most part, just showing him how wrong he is in a lot of the ways he handles things, I still enjoy him as a character. So I fucking particularly still like him. He's still probably one of my favorite main characters in anime, period. I fucking love Hachiman. That's just my nigga. I also like how he's been a lot more expressive about his thoughts and feelings about things. I think this season has really outlined the varying range of emotions we've seen him go through. Like, and that's the thing about SNAFU that people gotta understand. SNAFU is more about the subtle hints. If you're not good at picking up on that shit, you're not gonna catch a lot of it. Because people are like, oh, some of the anime only watchers are like, oh, Yukinosha's a bitch and Yukinosha doesn't change. No, Yukinosha has changed and she has layers. It's just her layers aren't as obvious because you're not. It's kind of like the way a lot of people stated it. It's like you're hearing Hachiman's thoughts so you can understand his character better. You're not hearing Yukinosha's thoughts, which makes her character seem a lot more vague and confusing to you. But god damn it, when you get to, what is it called? Is it called? It's not called Disney World. It's called like Destiny World or something. Like it's a Disney World ripoff. Almost every scene in that shit was gold. She also, Yukinosha has made her bias for Panda-san. I don't even know what his real, like the English translation of that name is. I think it's just Panda. He's probably, I want to say Panda Man, but that's One Piece. Pretty much the Panda dude, the Panda mascot. Her bias for him is so blatant in this episode. If anyone ever thought she didn't have a bias towards that character in the first place, here you go. Because she makes it so obvious from like trying to get pictures, from being super focused when they're on the ride, to holding, like having a whole bunch of stuffed animals and shit. It's fucking great. It's fucking great, man. It seems like everything with Hayama's group involving Ebina and Tobe is kind of on a sense of normality. I kind of want Ebina to change as a character, but that's asking too much, especially because I'm kind of curious if they're gonna delve into her character anymore, because they kind of left it up to interpretation, so you could if you wanted to. Then I guess we have to obviously talk about the Yui, Hachiman, and Yukinosha Hachiman scenes. The Yui ones is probably the cuter ones because I think the scene that most people are gonna geek out over is the fucking him remembering the date thing from the first season, because that hasn't really been brought up again. So I was surprised. I didn't know that they actually got, like, I don't know how accurate that is. I think it's accurate. That I guess in the light novels that was the time he remembers it. So when she's like, I want to come to this thing with you guys again. And I think Hachiman knew that she didn't mean that she just wanted to come to the damn thing. She obviously wanted to come with them again. And so he kind of gave that roundabout, well, we can go out kind of thing. But let's go to the other one. And it's nice because I like seeing him cater to Yui more. He didn't do that. He recognized Yui and he kind of did that for Yui, but he's become a lot more blatant with it now, which shows his change of personality. Actually, the same thing with like Yukinosha. Yukinosha has been bending to her will too, which is kind of which is funny considering almost all of last episode, the one thing Yukinosha kept calling Yui was unfair. The Yui moments are just adorable, but the Yukinosha moments are probably the better ones because of how much you can see the change. About how like she's super nervous to get on the ride with just her and Hikigaya. Granted, you can take that scene two ways. You can take that scene as her being nervous about the ride, which seems like that's plausible, but you can also take that as being nervous to be with Hikigaya by herself. But then again, she still wanted to get on the ride. And if anyone caught it when she said, oh, well, when he's like, oh, well, fuck, I lost my train of thought. Oh, when he says like, oh, you're not good with these type of rides, and she goes, well, I mean, when we went on with Yui, it was fine, so I think I'll be fine here too. Meaning she places him and Yui on the same level, so she doesn't show any bias. If she can handle something with Yui, she thinks she can handle it just as well with Hachiman, which shows a great growth considering she used to be a lot meaner. And that's the other thing people don't gotta catch. Like, she used to bust Hikigaya out all the motherfucking time. If anyone's noticed, she hasn't done that. I think the closest she gets is their little pseudo conversation here in this episode. And then we have the infamous scene that we kind of need to talk about. It's the whole them on the ride and her grabbing his collar and going, "Hey Hikigaya, save me someday." And then like the scene cuts off and then we just completely ignore it. And I'm sitting there like, something tells me you recognize that you aren't there. And also we get a clarification on something I had heard about in the light novel that makes a lot more sense here, which is the I want something that you and my sister don't have. The way it was kind of stated, the way I read spoilers for it made it sound like she didn't want something genuine. Like it made it seem like she wasn't like, I got a different perception. But when I see it anime, I understand what she means. I think she's recognized her own inadequacies and realizes that she's not doing as much as they are, and they both have their own way of handling things. Even if Hikigayas and Haruno's are equally flawed, they still have a way of doing things and getting things done. Yukinosha has never had that thing, like, because she opens up. That's the other thing. People don't realize this. Yukinosha hasn't talked about herself at all. Yukinosha has rarely talked about herself. That's another aspect to her growth. She's actually willing to have that conversation. Ironically, with Hikigaya, you would think she would have the conversation with Yui, but the fact that she's willing to have the conversation at all is kind of the point. But, so that's another aspect to her growth, but the whole thing about her wanting something that Hikigaya and Yukinosha can, it reminds me of One Piece in the sense that the line that I think Sanji used to say, said the Usopp during like CP9, which is there are some things that you can do that I can't do. Those are the things you need to worry about. Worry about the things you can do. I think that's what Yukinosha's looking for. Something that she can do that they can't do. She just has to figure out what it is. And she already has it. I think she just doesn't realize that she has it. Also, I like the nice callback to when they're looking at the fireworks right before the Hayama scene. They're looking at the fireworks, and Yui leans over and whispers and goes, "This brings back nostalgic memories." It took me a minute to realize, like, oh shit, she's talking about when they went to the fireworks and they ran to Haruno. Which apparently there's a flashback where there's something that happens during there. Apparently Komachi gives Haruno her number, so that happens. Which means Komachi's been spying on her brother, trying to get it in. Well, not even trying to get it in. She's trying to get him to get it in, pretty much. Also, I guess another Panda-san moment I thought was really funny was the one where Yumiko said some shit about Panda-san, and Yukinosa was like, I'm about to go smack that shit out of this bitch. And then you see Roha. Roha's like, I think Panda-san's kind of cute. And she's like, all right, she understands. It's fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. She gets it. And then you fucking take a guy with the commentary. He's like, you do realize that she's just doing that to make herself seem cuter, right? But then again, I don't think Yukinosha I think only Hayama. I'm surprised Hayama knows about her two-faced personality, but which I'm curious considering. At the end of this episode, you can tell that she made a confession towards him, and he rejected her. Which, ironically, Yukinosha was oblivious to, which I thought was really fucking funny. You know, the girl who's super perceptive and is kind of the more emotionally mature one in certain aspects, and doesn't even notice that a girl just got rejected in front of her. Oh, shit! Shit was hilarious. I was like, what the fuck was that? So we're going to be, I'm pretty sure next week will be mainly Iroha focus because we still got to deal with the student council shit. I kind of want to see one last Kawaii scenes we got to talk about. The fucking scene where it's like at the beginning of the episode, right when they interact with each other, after the next day, and they're both kind of awkward with each other and shit, and they both do the whole coughing thing, and then on top of that, when they go to meet Aroha, and Aroha is talking, and she just hands off the bat to Hikigaya. Hikigaya takes the bat, and you look at the girls, and they're just like, and they're like, what? And they're like, nothing. The shit was like, the most of the episode was just cute, fucking nice growth moments. Somebody marry Hirutsuka Sensei, please, though. That felt so bad for her. This is a good episode. It was a lighthearted episode, so I was able to enjoy it in the sense of like not really analyzing too much. I mean, there are things to talk about, such as, you know, the change in the characters now and how they're a lot more open with each other and trying to kind of feel each other out more, but in their own way. But like most of it was cute shit, and then, you know, you have the rejection in the episode off, which I can only imagine where that is going to lead. Because if anyone's noticed, Roja's like rejections towards Hikigai become a lot more like compliments than rejections. Like the whole thing about how he likes younger girls, and she didn't take that as an incest joke. She just said that she's not. She said that I think she even says in her rejection, Roja's like, "It's very flattering, but I'm not interested in you." Like her rejections have become more of like compliments every time she rejects him. So, and then to have this shit stacked onto it, bruh, we going in. So please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. This has been the Insane Game Freak. Life's a game, play to win, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.